Navier is the female lead of the story. She is the Empress and is preparing to accept a divorce from Sovieshu. She is defended by her family and the church, who have approved her marriage. The court minister, who is angry, wants her to challenge the reason for the divorce, fearing it would cause a scandal for Sovieshu and his concubine. The Empress is hesitant, fearing that a divorce trial could damage Sovieshu's reputation and her own name. Despite her moral concerns, she agrees to the divorce. However, she asks for permission to remarry, leaving the room. The minister is shocked and confused. The man who removes the veil tells Sovieshu that he is the one she will marry. The minister's eyes look hollow, but the woman smiles and turns to the man, feeling a pleasant feeling. 3 years ago, the new year was a challenging time for planning. After consulting with officials, the ladies-in-waiting were nervous about the emperor's return from hunting. The ladies-in-waiting told the empress that the emperor saved a slave woman trapped in a trap, and her beauty was comparable to the Duchess Tuania. A lady reveals that the emperor seems fond of her, and the ladies-in-waiting express concern about the empress. They offer support, even if it's difficult to hear about the situation. Countess Eliza suggests asking the emperor about the woman he brought. She agrees, hoping it won't be a major issue, thinking that the emperor brought her out of pity. The empress and emperor have dinner twice a week. After discussing recent political issues, Navier asks about a runaway slave he saved at the hunting grounds. The emperor is tense and hesitant to discuss the source of the story. The emperor's answer is cold and warns her not to get involved. The empress shares her mother's advice to Countess Eliza that she should not let herself be hurt even if the emperor takes another woman as his lover. She is prepared for such situations, but feels down when the emperor doesn't speak to her. The empress and her husband, who has a political marriage, are upset about their relationship. Countess Eliza explains that their feelings are similar to those of a child or friend, and that the more powerful their love is, the harder it is to look around. The empress must deal with her heartbreak alone, forcing herself to smile. The situation highlights the emotional impact of a political marriage. She believes that woman cannot enter high society even if she become a concubine. Being a slave meant a life sentence for a crime committed, and a runaway slave was considered dregs of society. Navier feels empty when her husband has a new lover, but she knows that there is only one empress in the empire. The emperor visits the slave daily, even bringing her food and treating her leg. Those are the rumors that Navier always hear among the servants. As Sovieshu's interest in the slave woman grows, so does the stories about her. It's fortunate they never ran into each other. A woman in a wheelchair, accompanied by 2 maids, greets the empress, despite her injured legs. The empress is unsure if she is the slave the emperor found, but she greets the empress with a hey. The maids are bewildered, but the woman ignores them. The empress wonders if she has something to do with her, as she would know she is the empress. The empress is perplexed by Rashta, who introduced herself by her first name. Despite being curious about her intentions, she don't want to ask why. Rashta's cheerful smile doesn't seem to require urgent attention. The empress is surprised when her dress is grabbed by Rashta, who is surprised to learn she is the empress. Laura warns Rashta to be careful of her actions, as she may not recognize the noble woman. The empress is confused about Rashta's identity, as she has never such kind of person. Rashta, said the emperor, let her live in the eastern palace. Rashta's servant explained to the empress that she is not a slave. Rashta asked the empress what will she call her. Navier answered that your majesty will suffice. Rashta, turning around, was pulled by the ladies-in-waiting, questioning her friendly approach to the empress, calling her filthy. The emperor witnessed Laura insulting Rashta, and he glared at the ladies-in-waiting. Sovieshu, a renowned cold man, tried to comfort her, but tears began to flow down her face. Despite his attempts to soothe her, she continued to cry. He sighed and wiped her face, stating, "You're a handful." The empress, feeling worried, instructs her ladies-in-waiting to leave due to her leg ache. She averts her eyes from Sovieshu's concubine, but is interrupted by Sovieshu, who glares at Laura and orders her to leave the lady-in-waiting behind. Sovieshu orders a guard to lock Laura up for 3 days, providing only water and bread. The empress resisted, however. At the end, she lost from the emperor, leaving her lady-in-waiting to be punished for 5 days. After Laura's imprisonment ended, the empress fetched her from the tower and ordered her favorite cake. A secretary from Sovieshu called to tell the empress that the emperor wants to see her. The emperor is sitting at a table, The Empress asked why he called for her. He was concerned about the Empress still catering Laura after her punishment. The Emperor questions the Empress' decision to keep the lady-in-waiting. Navier answered that she will decide whether she keep her lady-in-waiting or not. So Vieshu argued with the Empress, demanding obedience. The Empress refused to comply, and the Emperor wryly suggested she retire for the day. After Empress Navier left, Soviesha rang a bell, and to his surprise Rashta came out. The Emperor and Rashta tease and joke with each other until they discuss making Rashta the Emperor's concubine. Soviesha assures her about becoming his concubine and that they're not rushing. The Empress is occupied with New Year preparations, while the Emperor is taking in a concubine. The ladies-in-waiting are complaining about this unusual news, arguing that he should have waited until New Year's was over. The Empress asked Countess Eliza about the concubine's upcoming ceremony, which is expected to be completed before New Year. The Emperor wants the ceremony to be simple due to other large events and tight time. The ladies-in-waiting are worried about if the Empress will send a gift to Rasht. The Empress assures the ladies-in-waiting that she has no desire to send a gift. Navier is asked about the rumor that the Prince of the Western Kingdom is coming for New Year's Day. The lone younger brother of the king is renowned for many things. She is intrigued by his appearance. The Western Kingdom was a country of great military power and wealth, and the rumors surrounding him were circulating. Rashta went to the Empress to meet her. However, Countess Eliza is anxious about meeting Rashta, who the Empress doesn't want to see. Empress Navier let Rashta in. The Empress asks why Rashta visits her. Rashta give a big smile and answer that they are family. Countess Eliza expresses displeasure after Rashta say about her and the Empress being sisters because they share the same husband. Rashta asks to be sisters after he took away her husband. The Empress, furious, explains that she is not her sister, causing her tears. The Empress ends the meeting, asking Rashta to leave the room, leaving everyone in shock. Empress Navier strolls through the gardens at the Western Palace and notices a large, handsome bird perched on a flower. She approaches it and finds a handwritten note on its foot, stating he is a foreign guest arriving on New Year's Day. The ladies-in-waiting welcome it, but the Empress wonders if it's a drunk foreigner, as many foreign ambassadors will be arriving for the event. The Empress returns to her room after a conversation with ladies about birds. They find Sovieshu's secretaries waiting for them, who informs her the Emperor has summoned her. She changed first into a more formal outfit and wished not to encounter Rashta again. Sovieshu suggests concubines should have a lady-in-waiting, and he plans to give Rashta one. However, no noble women have come forward. That's why he asked the Empress to look for ladies-in-waiting that will serve Rashta.